According to Reverend Father George Ehusani, those who decree poverty for the poor and legislate misery for the lonely can neither prosper alone nor have peace in isolation. For the culture of poverty brings not only hunger and starvation, but violence and disorder. So whilst government is looking for whom to hold responsible for NSAS protest, I urge them to take a look at the man in the mirror. The more I choose to speak about positives in Nigeria, the more I'm confronted with the negatives. If the Central Bank of Nigeria looks in the mirror, they would understand in clear terms that freezing the accounts via ex parte order of peaceful protesters is not just an attempt to assist politicians to hold on to power without as much as taking on the attendant responsibility of governance, but also a violation of the fundamental rights of the citizens in a democratic environment. The same CBN that is unable to freeze the accounts of sponsors of armed banditry, kidnapping and terrorism in the country, despite the successful prosecution of some Boko Haram sponsors in the United Arab Emirates. Even the US had to come into Nigeria to rescue their citizens kidnapped in Niger and smuggled into the country through our closed land border. Please give me a break. The same CBN that can't give new currency notes despite the abundance of same by vendors at every party in the country? Why is there so much foolery in this country? Anyway, so they know we know. The position of the law on ex parte order was succinctly stated in the case of Enekwe versus IMA Limited, reported in 1997, 10 Nigeria Weekly Law Report, part 526 at page 601, that they are orders made for exigencies to maintain the status quo and cannot have a long lifespan and indeed automatically dies after 14 days by virtue of Order 26, Rule 12.1 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2009, except renewed or until the motion or notice is had. An ex parte order which invariably affects a party who is absent at the proceedings in the court when the order is made must necessarily have a very short lifespan. Otherwise, the order comes in conflict with the right of fair hearing enshrined in Section 36(1) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. So one is tempted to ask, how come a judge granted an order to CBN to freeze the account of someone who was in a party to a suit for 180 days? What if Ashola no go see for tollgate for this country? Regulators should be informed that silencing dissenting voices through arbitrary fines and sanctions and arrest of journalists and lawyers, contrary to the provisions of the Constitution, for either covering the NSAS protest or offering legal service to protest, is the worst form of dictatorship in a government that mounts democracy. Should we remind them that Section 22 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, states the press, radio, TV, and other agencies of the mass media should at all times be free to uphold the fundamental objectives contained in this chapter and uphold the responsibility and accountability of government to the people. This section is further enhanced by Section 39(1) and 2 of the same Constitution. So I ask, as a lawyer and an elder statesman, if only Alhaji Lai Mohammed looked properly in the mirror, he will understand that in China, there are no homeless people, no Agberus, no Almajiris or thugs, as government provides for all. He should have seen that in Dubai, there are no thugs collecting revenue for government or snatching ballot boxes for politicians. Otherwise, he would have been bothered more about how to replicate China infrastructure in Nigeria rather than looking for how to censor what's already censored by the providers and other existing laws. So they know we also know. The supposed first information sheet filed in the magistrate court in Abuja requesting for the prosecution of people who were in Lagos as at the time of the protest is filed without jurisdiction, as neither the FCT court, magistrate court, nor the FCT High Court had jurisdiction to entertain such an action since those named persons, apart from one, neither visited nor addressed any protest in Abuja. I would therefore advocate, as stated by the late sage, Pa Obafemi Awolowo, a man who saw tomorrow, when he said, the children of the poor will refuse to educate or provide for today, will not allow us or our children to have peace tomorrow. So how much of education did the government provide to those they call thugs, miscreant and agbero yesterday to expect a princely behavior from them during protests? You can't give monopoly to an individual business while depriving other smaller businesses of growth through increase in cost of doing business and expect employment for the youth. Your regulators can't be harassing small and medium-scale businesses on check daily and expect a robust investment climate where youth can be employed. Kole work. For if we all look carefully in the mirror, we would all see that the children we failed to cater for years ago, those we refused to take off the street yesterday, the employment we failed to provide days ago, while using public funds to buy properties and raise our kids abroad, or spending 2.2 billions to look for prayer, those jobs we refuse to provide, the good governance we refuse to execute, and those business owners we harass for permits and bribes. The injustice and impunity we perpetrated has now come to take its pound of flesh from us today. And we cannot solve these issues by using the same old method of intimidation, harassment, arrests, but through a sincere apology, a genuine heart, and a change of mindset to do things differently. Otherwise, in the event of a reoccurrence, the hunter might become the hunted, and the bushmeat fit catch the hunter. Doing it right always shouldn't just be a slogan, but our collective lifestyle.